Ho, 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 everyone, and welcome to the Free Thought Forum. I am Doug, your host for this evening, and next to me is our co-host, Jacob.
Hey, everyone.
Say that again, because the technical staff was very, very slow on that. Ho, 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 Jim, do you want to come sit on Santa's lap?
Let's not antagonize the studio guru, okay?
You're right. Never antagonize the technical staff.
Yeah.
So, anyway, tonight we're going to talk about worldwide celebrations, both religious and non-religious, and some observances that are downright silly. I had intended to mention all the celebrations, observances, and everything. However, I found out by the long hours in the library and online, the show would have to be over 4 hours long just to mention them with a brief description. Although I've admitted quite a few, we will probably not finish the list before the show ends. Before we get started, Jacob has some upcoming information about Pennsylvania Nonbelievers meetings, functions, and other news. Pooh, take it away, Jacob.
Thank you, Doug. As a reminder, our upcoming meetups, the next one is in York on the 3rd. That's 3rd of January of next year. Harrisburg is on the 8th. Lebanon on the 14th. Chambersburg on the 20th. And Lancaster is on the 28th. Our next show is currently scheduled for the 13th, although I will mention again, as I mentioned briefly last episode, due to there'll be some changes coming to public access TV in York, and we're not exactly sure if that will affect our programming at all. So it might change. Just be sure to check our website, PA Nonbelievers, for any updates on programming changes. I'd also like to mention that this last weekend we had our Winter Solstice Festival, where we were raising money for our two charity events. First was Foundation Beyond Belief, and another one is...
Hold it just a second? Hey, Jim, can you turn off our earpieces, please? It's coming through really loud and distracting. Thank you.
All right. But anyway, first we were raising money for two charities at that event: Foundation Beyond Belief, as well as a charity drive tied to our next conference, which is Atheist Fights Hunger. And just from a few people who were there, we were able to raise over almost $400. So a very successful night, and that with a lot of money going to two very good, very respectable charities. And our Atheist Fights Hunger drive is actually almost halfway to its goal. Great. And we still got a long way to go on that, so we should be able to meet it. So back to you, Doug.
Hey, that sounds fantastic. We can have a little bit more on our party that we had last Saturday, our winter solstice party. Also have some photographs there. But for right now, we want to tell you that today, December 23rd, 2014, is the celebration of Festivus. Now, you think I'm joking? Nah, not really. Festivus is a celebration for the rest of us. Now, this is a new celebration created in 1966. It was actually popularized on a Seinfeld comedy episode in 1997. It seems to be growing in popularity as a simple secular seasonal day of celebration as an alternative to Christmas and Hanukkah, with a minimum of commercialization. It is held on December 23rd, which coincidentally happens to be today. And it's approximately midway between the winter solstice and Christmas. Now, many atheists in the U.S. have begun to celebrate the winter solstice. This is the day of the year when our nighttime is the longest and the daytime is the shortest. Of course, not to let a sober secular day go by without a gathering of friends and like-minded people. Many non-religious people also choose the summer solstice in June to have a big picnic. Now, I tell you right now, this cotton-picking hat is getting very, very hot under these lights. Okay? So anyway, as you have heard on the show previously, the members and guests of Pennsylvania Nonbelievers make it a point to celebrate both summer and winter solstices with picnics or house parties. As I continue to ramble on about the celebrations on this planet Earth, we will also be showing on the screen photos that I took at recent parties. And since we like seasonal decorations, I snapped a few pictures of houses around the York area. Now, I will admit that I did borrow 6 of the photographs from local people that posted them online last year. Since they look so nice and cute, I decided to put them on here, so I can't take credit for these. The last 4 in this batch is actually of my family back in the 1970s. Jim, please run the slideshow while I talk on over it. Now, one of the things about solstice was back in 2012 at 11:11 Universal Time, winter solstice was on December the 21st. Now, this was supposed to be special because the 10,000-year-old Mayan calendar ended at that time and possibly started a brand new cycle on that day. Well, to date, no one has discovered a new calendar for the next 10,000 years. Some authors were making a lot of money feeding on people's fears that something of massive destruction will happen that day, perhaps terminating all life on Earth. Other authors predicted some form of spiritual development by all humans. Well, I'm not spiritual yet, so I guess the day went by totally uneventfully. Yeah, obviously.
Well, I should say one of the funniest pictures I saw posted after that date was a picture from the old Bugs Bunny cartoon of Marvin the Martian looking down at the Earth with a telescope saying, "Where was the kaboom? There was supposed to be an earth-shattering kaboom."
And they promoted that. You're watching the movie 2012. It was a great movie, but I mean, totally BS about the reasons that it was going to be the end of the world. On the screen, see those are jalapeno bites right there, wrapped in bacon, made by our co-host here, Jacob. They are absolutely delicious. They were at our party on Saturday. I still have third-degree burns in my esophagus because they were a little on the spicy side. However, that's the price you have to pay for delicious. Yeah. I'd like to hire him as my personal cook for jalapeno poppers, but he's got another job. Sorry about that. Anyway, so let's put the holidays in alphabetical order. Okay, and this is during the month of December. Now, Buddhists celebrate Bodhi day on December the 8th, or on the Sunday immediately preceding it. It recalls the day in 596 BC when the Buddha sat beneath a Bodhi tree, a sort of fig tree, and it is believed he's achieved enlightenment, thus escaping what they believed to be the repeating cycle of reincarnation involving life, death, rebirth, etc. But Buddha, yeah, good cheese. Buddha was not a god. Now, they have replanted sprigs of that supposed tree since 596 BCE, and a descendant of the original tree is the most important of the 4 holy sites of Buddhism. Now, of course, any celebration would be incomplete without mentioning Christians. In the West, Christmas on December 25th is the day when Yeshua of Nazareth, a.k.a. Jesus, was supposedly born. But that's when it's celebrated, okay? That he's regarded by most Christians as a deity and a savior of humanity. Of course, non-believers kind of doubt that, but be as it may, if they want to celebrate, let them celebrate. The Eastern Orthodox Church currently celebrates Christmas December 25th, according to the Julian calendar, which is January 7th in the more commonly used Gregorian calendar. It is not actually the date of Jesus' birth. That probably happened in the fall sometime between 7 and 4 BCE. Its origin can be traced to ancient Roman pagan celebrations called Saturnalia. Okay? Let's skip on a little bit here. Jews celebrate Hanukkah, or Chanukah. It's the feast of dedication and the festival of lights. This is an 8-day observance which recalls a miracle in the Jerusalem temple during a war fought by the Maccabees in the cause of religious freedom. Like that. Temple candles only had enough oil to burn for a single day. Yet it is said they burned for 8 days, and they consider that a miracle. Hanukkah falls between sunset on what was it? The 20th, December the 20th, and sunset on the 28th. The first Hanukkah typically falls between November 30th and December 26th. Now, followers of the Kemetic Orthodoxy celebrate the day of the return of the wandering goddess on the winter solstice. Now, this religion is a celebration of faith, and it's been observed for about 4,500 years, longer actually, like that. This day celebrates the return of the goddess of Hathor to her father, Ra, and the healing of their relationship. There's old dastardly Doug on the screen. Aha, caught him. Now, the Muslims' holy days are fixed to the lunar calendar. On successive years, the days migrate about 10 days earlier as viewed on the Gregorian calendar. Eid al-Adha aka the Feast of Sacrifice Day of sacrifice, occurs during the 12th lunar month of the Islamic year. Yeah, this immediately follows Hajj, which is actually the pilgrimage to Mecca. So anyway, I'm going to skip over some of these things. Native Americans and Aboriginal groups elsewhere in the world also observe the winter solstice. They associate different beliefs and rituals with it. For example, the Hopi tribe celebrations are dedicated to giving aid and direction to the sun, which is ready to return and give them strength and budding life. Now, you can see that there's an awful lot of celebrations during that time. I came up with a whole slew, and the average person doesn't know really all the celebrations that are out there.
And I think it's interesting that most of them are there because of the winter solstice.
Yeah.
And it's revolved around that. And I think that comes from the fact that so many early cultures worship the sun itself as a god.
Yeah.
So because of that, they noticed, okay, it's shining less during the day. Maybe there's something going wrong here. It seems to be the origin of a lot of these.
Yeah, because, well, they could also tell by the lengthening and shortening of shadows,
Right.
too. And anyway, the Nova Romans, a.k.a. Romana, celebrate Saturnalia, a 7-day feast starting on December the 17th. Romana are neo-pagans who worship the ancient god of Rome, who celebrate the ancient Roman holy days. Wiccans and other neo-pagans Wiccans and other neo-pagans celebrate Yule at the time of the winter solstice. These people do not celebrate the devil or any other kind of evil being or manifestation or anything. They do, however, offer thanks to Mother Nature or Mother Earth Day. Now, that is my family from the 1970s, right there. My brother and my father and my other brother and my sister, and that little itty bitty thing in the left-hand side there was my ex-wife. That anyway, like I said, Wiccans don't celebrate, the devil. Now, some may celebrate the Sabbat, one of the 8 days of celebration, on the evening before, at sunrise, or on the morning of the solstice, or the actual time of the astronomical event. As Jacob was saying, the solstice played a really big part in celebrations and in religious observances, because they did consider the sun as being a god. So, well, I'll tell you what. I'm sweating like mad, so I'm going to also take this dumbass wig off. the things I do for this program. Suffer, suffer, suffer. But that's better.
You know, I think maybe you should start bouncing your ideas off of me before you bring them. I'm just saying.
No, well, it was sort of a last-minute thing, and I'm thinking, well, heck, although I don't celebrate Christmas, I do like the holiday season. It seems that it does help put some people in a better mood. Of course, others, it has exactly the opposite.
It depends, because I mean, whenever you see the days shortening, it actually can affect you mentally.
Yeah.
And I think
Seasonal affected disorder, SAD, right, where the actual light that is available, sunlight that comes through your eyes and helps develop vitamin D. That most people during the winter months wind up with a slight vitamin D deficiency,
right,
which does affect mood. Now, I don't know how many of you agree, but our technical man says that I look like Jerry Garcia now that I've added some white to it. However, I'm not nearly as rich or famous as or as dead. So now also, you know, in ancient times, Druids and followers of pagan and polytheistic religion of Greece, Rome, and other countries held celebrations at or shortly after the winter solstice. Some neo-pagans have recreated these religions and are following them today. Now, you know, it's no wonder that Christmas chose this month to celebrate. I mean, what better time? If you want to get the people to join your religion, why not make your religion with celebration days similar to the other religions are around? I mean, everyone else was celebrating theirs, so...
Right. I mean, that's kind of how Halloween started, too.
Yeah.
And many others is just... And sometimes it's not a matter of copying, but more or less, you know, a manifestation of a common belief.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Did you put that out over the air? Very good.
No, it didn't.
Well, why don't you repeat it again so it goes out, so people won't just think that we're sitting here dumbfounded here, and we'll address it.
Yeah, by having the Christian religion of celebrating the Savior's birth on or about the time of Saturnalia, it helped keep low key which ones were Christians, because if they were out celebrating, people could assume, oh, they're just celebrating Saturnalia. And early Christian history is rife with a lot of persecution, unlike the present persecution claimed by the War and Christmas crowd. Anyway, that's it.
Okay, well, you've got a good point there, and it certainly does make sense.
Right.
You know, the month of December also includes a number of cultural celebrations that are not necessarily religious, like the National Day of Remembrance and Action on Violence Against Women is held annually in Canada on December 6th. On December 6, 1989, a deranged male gunman, a victim of child abuse, and the uncontrollable rage that frequently follows abuse, entered the École Polytechnique de Montréal, the School of Polytechnics in Montreal. His application to admittance to the school had been rejected, and he blamed feminists for ruining his life. He shot 27 people, 23 women, and 4 men. 14 women died that day, but all the men did survive. Like that. So, I mean, this is, although it's not down here, it's a good remembrance. Also, there's the Thousand Lamp Mandalaya ceremony is celebrated on December 6th in conjunction with Human Rights Day around the world to promote peace in Tibet and elsewhere. Human Rights Day is observed on December 10th, the anniversary of the signing of the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights. That's UDHR. In 1948, December 10th, at the Palais de Chaillot in Paris, the documents offered the minimum human rights standards that should be available in all countries of the world. They included, like our rights here, the right to life, liberty, and nationality, to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, to work, to be educated, and to take part in government. Now, in a movement started in 2011, they tried to add something to add to it for persons of different sexual orientations and gender identities, all through the human rights specified by the UDHR. Although all people are now granted in America, at least, equal human rights, there are many that oppose those rights because of their own skewed moral point of view. So the battle goes on, us against them and vice versa. So, I mean, you know, we keep trying to improve the world around us, but it seems as fast as people try to improve the world in their little neck of the woods, there's always another group of people that want to tear it down because it isn't their point of view. And anyway, Shab Yahala, anyway, it is, I can pronounce the thing. It is celebrated on the eve of the winter solstice. It was originally a religious observance of the night before the birth of Mithra, the man god of Mithraism. Now, there's still some debate whether or not they really considered him a man god. But the main competing religion to Christianity during the 3rd and 4th century of the Christian era. In the Roman Empire, Mithra was the previous edition of Jesus. Mithra's birthday was supposedly 25 December. Somewhere around 1,500 years before Jesus, and was born to a virgin in humble surroundings. So they say. So I mean, this Mithra character, that he goes back a long way, beyond before Christianity, and yet his story, all the things that supposedly people say about Jesus, they say of Mithra.
Right. I've heard it referred to as the sister religion almost, but I'm not sure how that's. Well, I'd also point out there's a lot of similarities to Christianity and the Roman state religion of Romulus, or straight state god of Romulus too. Although I don't know when his birthday was supposed to be off the top of my head. But yeah, I mean, Mithra is definitely one of the main ones you hear thrown out when you look at similarities to Christianity.
Yeah. What the heck else was I going to say here? Anyway, we've also got a Christmas, a secular Christmas celebration that's spelled with a K, that celebrates the elements of Christmas with the exception of the story or the myth of Jesus' birth. Christmas observes the myth of Kris Kringle, a.k.a. Santa Claus. I really like Santa Claus because in my 70-plus years on this earth, Santa Claus has never forgot me, and he's always brought me a present. Jesus, however, has not bought me a single thing, and I've checked, believe me. So, anyway, Christmas observes the myth of Kris Kringle, Rudolph and the other reindeers and elves, and it includes the giving of gifts, the beauty of decorated trees, and the building and the smell of Christmas trees, etc. But it's closer to the pagan origins of Christmas with a C than modern-day Christmas itself. It was apparently created independently in, recently, 2004, by Jacob Walker and Will Shuttley, and by other individuals at other times. One of the neat features of this celebration is that agnostics, atheists, deists, freethinkers, progressive Christians, and the rest of the 68% plus of humanity who are not Christian can wish another person Merry Christmas with a K freely without bending their beliefs too much out of shape. Although I'm not sure if someone says Merry Christmas to me, I'll say, yeah, same to you, thank you, like that. And I won't snub them because this is their holiday. Then, of course, there's Kwanzaa. People, I know a lot of people heard of it, but they have no idea what the heck it is. Well, it's a week-long celebration which starts on December 26. Now, it's a recently developed cultural holiday celebrating African-American heritage that has been an annual tradition since 1966. I know it doesn't go back very far, but I can remember back when it started, when the native African Americans wanted a celebration themselves here in the United States. Kwanzaa is derived from the Swahili phrase Matsuda ya Kwanzaa, which means the first fruits of the harvest. Each day focuses on one of the 7 principles of Kwanzaa: unity, self-determination, collective work, responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, and creativity and faith. It's not a bad thing to celebrate. And it actually is, over the years, has become more popular. I remember talking to this colored gentleman a month or so ago, and I just mentioned to him, are you going away for Christmas or this year to any of your family? Are you celebrating like that? And he says, no. He says, I don't celebrate Christmas. He says, I celebrate Kwanzaa. He said, although I would consider myself a Christian, but he didn't celebrate Christmas, which I thought...
Yeah, that's interesting, actually. I've never heard of somebody doing that.
No. So, anyway, there's a couple more here. You know, there's Omuskosa. It's a very popular end-of-year celebration in Japan. Families perform usaja, or called ushaji. It's called the big cleanup, in order that their home will start the New Year's clean and tidy. Now, according to Wikipedia, a few minutes before midnight, every temple prepares a mazaki, or sweet sake, and crowds gather around a metal gong, which is to be struck 108 times. The number is believed to be the number of sins and ills thought that can take place in a human mind. Well, I know some people that can probably think of a few more sins than 108.
Unless they're just kind of a combination of a couple. You know,
Yeah.
That's one thing.
3 strikings of the gong drives these sins away. Well, it's nice that you know, your sins can be washed away like that. The Catholic Church did something like that, didn't they? Except
Right.
just for a little, excuse me, a little bit of money.
Right. That's one of those, like, I wonder how, I should look into the history of that. I'm kind of curious how that even, something like that even gets started.
Yeah.
But although I say best not wait till spring to get your cleaning done, I guess.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can have a big job.
Yeah.
Now, some non-Christians object to the overwhelming attention paid to Christmas at this time of the year and the competition this provides to their own celebrations. Well, I'm a non-believer. I'm a non-Christian. And all I got to say about that is tough. You know, everyone has a right to celebrate what they want. Okay, whether you're Christian or non-Christian or whatever.
I'm kind of reminded of something I heard Matt Delahunty say last year, where he says his quote was, "Celebrate what you want, however you want, whatever you want to call it. Just enjoy your life."
Exactly. And just because someone classifies what they believe as religious, it shouldn't take precedent over other people's either religious or non-religious beliefs, so long as it doesn't hurt anyone or cause harm. If you want to be...
Right, whether it's a serious cause or it's just something completely silly.
Yeah.
And I don't mind silly holidays either.
Oh, no.
Those are the most fun.
Any reason to celebrate. I don't mind having a few drinks. However, I detest being drunk, so you will never in your life ever see me drunk. But, 3 drinks and I'm happy. Now, of course, also, some non-religious folks object to themselves and their children being exposed to so many religious messages at this time of the year on television, at shopping centers, and in public schools. As I said, tough. It's the way that life is. Okay, let's look at a few little celebrations in January. Okay, in Christianity, it's celebrate the feast of the circumcision on the 1st of January.
That doesn't even sound right. I'm sorry.
I wouldn't be celebrating that, to be cut short, so to speak. Oh, well, okay, I should have warned you. But it just came to mind.
That was wrong no matter how you slice it.
But they really do have a feast of circumcision. At least according to, I think I got that off Wikipedia, that then there's the solemnness of Mary, Mother of God, which is also the 1st of January. Also on the 1st of January is Saint Basil Day. In Greece, he's traditionally, he's the Father Christmas figure. On January the 5th, the 12th night, Epiphany Eve. It's 5 of January, Epiphany, to 6 of January, the arrival of the 3 Magi. Can't talk. Orthodox Christmas starts the 7th of January in churches using the dates corresponding to the old Julian calendar. 7 January is equivalent to 25 December in the Gregorian calendar. I don't know about you, but this actually is boring me to death here. It was fun when I was researching all this stuff and spending time in the library and also online there. But I'm sure that you get to know, you can see how many celebrations all over the world there are during the month of December. And we here in the United States and probably in England too, sort of consider Christmas just about the only really day worth celebrating in December, unless, of course, in England they consider December the 26th, day after Christmas, which is Boxing Day. Now, I don't know how the heck it got its name, but it's national holiday in England. Everyone gets Boxing Day, the day after Christmas, off.
I kind of reminded of a joke out of the show Futurama, where they were saying in the future there's so many parades in New York that they decided to just do them all on one day and get it over with. Like they'd have a parade day through New York. And the funny thing is I can kind of see that happening. Like you just want to just fold all of these together into one day. And I guess some of these celebrations are almost just a composite of a couple celebrations at once.
Yeah. Actually, it would be nice if they was to have one sort of universal celebration that everyone could celebrate that didn't want to bother with any other days. You know, you can throw Christmas, New Year's, 4th of July, everything else into one. It would.
Yeah, some of these holidays we still celebrate in the United States. I almost look at it as if, even though most of the meaning's gone out of them, it's like we still want a holiday at that point in the calendar. So we're just sticking with that one. Yeah. Right.
Oh, okay. Evidently, we had a technical glitch here, and the dates for the upcoming meetings did not go out over the air. So Jacob is going to read them off again.
Well, they're at the top of your screen now. As you can see, York will be January 3rd. Lebanon will be the 14th. Harrisburg will be on January 8th. Chambersburg is January 20th. Lancaster is on the 28th. And our next show is currently scheduled for the 13th.
And keeping our fingers crossed, I guess that they're talking about it now at the city council meeting that they've got here in York. It's it's nothing to do with us. It's budgetary constraints that every city has, and some things stay, some things go. So they've got to talk about it. Now I'm just going to bring up one other little thing here. I know I don't go out and celebrate Christmas. At one time, I did a Secret Santa thing, and I went out with little cards, and I had like $20 bills in them, and I'd drive downtown on Christmas Eve and see if I could find any homeless people and hand them out. But I'm not nearly as rich as I was then, so. This Christmas, it's coming up on Christmas Day right now, and if you don't celebrate Christmas because you're a non-believer, what do? Well, okay, you rent some movies to watch on TV. Now, here is a quick, dastardly Doug review of some of the movies that I have seen recently. Okay? Hercules. Now, this was a good remake of an old story starring The Rock. If you can smell what The Rock is cooking, okay? In this version, he is mortal and not the son of a god. Now, it's very entertaining, seamless special effects, and worth renting. Now, the movie Interstellar, sci-fi movie about life in the near future, where we have almost destroyed our environment and the steps that mankind goes to save it all. Very realistic special effects, computer graphics, CG is impeccable, and it probably has the best depiction of explosive decompression that I have ever seen. You technical people out there know what the heck I'm talking about. Definitely worth renting. The movie Transformers, it's a good movie to watch. In my opinion, it was the best of the Transformer movies so far.
That's not saying much, though.
No, no, it's not. So that's all I'm going to say about it. But it was mildly entertaining. The movie Noah. It was an interesting adaptation of a biblical story. Now, it's supposed to be serious, but I laughed through most of it.
That's kind of like me laughing through God Is Not Dead.
Yeah. Totally unlike any biblical account I have ever read. Okay, but it was entertaining. So
In a mystery science theater sort of a way.
In a mystery science fiction. Oh gosh, I'd forgotten about that.
Yeah.
That's such a great thing.
Yeah, you could. That's one show. Maybe sometime we ought to do a mystery science theater treatment of some of these religious movies.
Oh yes, that would be great. Yeah. Okay, now the movie Maleficent. Now that was actually a surprisingly good movie starring Angelina Jolie about Sleeping Beauty. Now, if you are expecting to see a movie similar to the previews you have seen on TV or in the theater, you'll be disappointed. The character and story of the evil witch is completely different from the previews and fairy tale books. The studio totally misled the public on this one. Oh, she had a temper and does some awesome damage, but it was still a great flick to rent. I totally enjoyed the great CG. Now, afterwards, I was going to send an email to Angelina Jolie to ask her to marry me. But unfortunately, Brad Pitt spoiled my plans. It's the story of my life, a day late and $30 million short. Yeah. Moses. Now, I've not seen it yet, but friends say it is epic. And the director is quoted as saying he wanted to stay relatively true to the official story, but no one would believe the lights and voices from the sky BS anymore. I thought that was an interesting statement by... Anyway, Silver Linings Playbook. Now, this is a feel-good romantic comedy. It's a bit of a chick flick, if you know what I mean. But I thoroughly enjoyed it since I found myself supporting the position of the two imposing lead stars and could understand both the male and the female character's story. I've rented it twice in the last 3 months. So, The Expendables. Perfect bang bang, shoot 'em up, beat the crap out of the bad guys man flick. Loaded with tough guy movie stars who are not afraid to make someone bleed. Good computer graphics. I will probably buy the DVD when it goes on super sale. So those are the movies that should last you through the Christmas or Xmas holidays. They're just my comment.
Yeah. I don't really have anything to add because I'm just not that much into movies.
No.
You know, I think some of the younger generations are kind of moving away from movies. Feels like there's nothing really original out there except some weird depictions of Bible stories. Seems to be a favorite thing.
Well, a lot of the entertainment is very trashy.
Yeah, but
I mean, I used to be an avid reader, actually more like rabid, but reader like Jacob. But the older I get and the worse my eyes get, like that, the more it makes my eyes ache. to read, and I don't read nearly as much, and it is just as easy and almost as entertaining as sitting down in front of a TV and watching it. Of course, I wish the heck that actually I could read more, but I got to get cataract operation, so that's out of the question. But it looks like we got about 5 minutes to go left in the show. Is there anything else you can think of, or
Well, I was just
in the control room? Is there any?
Well, I was going to say one thing. One thing I think maybe is a story we're celebrating around Christmas time is the story of the Christmas truce.
Yes,
During
yep,
World War One. Yeah, I think it's a really great story that a lot more attention needs to come to, and that is, the fighting stopped for a day, even longer in some sections, just to give the troops the stop fighting on Christmas.
Yeah, I mean, get together and celebrate. They just approach each other with a white flag.
Well, they weren't supposed to do that in the first place, but that's just something the soldiers decided to do. And I heard even in one spot along the front, they started playing a soccer game.
Yeah.
And it got to the point where it really gave the soldiers pause to sit there and go, why are we doing this again?
Yeah, I'm quite sure that sometime in the heat of battle, all soldiers all over the world have asked themselves, what the heck are we doing here?
Yeah, because, I mean, especially with World War I, where the actual reasons behind it are sometimes a little unclear, like why certain countries ended up in the fight. As I heard somebody put it recently, it's almost like it was a barroom brawl and everybody just walked away with a black eye. Not exactly sure what was all about, but anyway, with the story of the Christmas truce, you have people starting to sing along the front and both sides, like kind of singing along with what the other sides were doing, and even in some places they were supposed to go back to fighting the next day, and a lot of places they didn't. They just didn't want to do it for at least 3 or 4 days, and actually the commanding officers had to get out a gun and to get it going again.
Yeah. In this world we live in here, it seems like people lose their temper a lot, and they, yelling and shouting and not too much to understanding of each other. So I want to read you one of my favorite poems. It says, "When I have lost my temper, I have lost my reason too. I'm never proud of anything which angrily I do. When I have talked in anger and my cheeks are flaming red, I've always uttered something which I wish I hadn't said. In anger I have never done a kindly deed or wise, but many things for which I felt I should apologize. In looking back across my life, or all I've lost or made, I can't recall a single time when fury ever paid," like that. "So I struggle to be patient, for I reached a wiser age. I do not want to do a thing or speak a word in rage. I've learned by sad experience that when my temper flies, I do not do a worthy deed, a decent deed, or wise." Goodbye, everyone.
That's all we have time for. We'll see you later.